Hey guys, we're back in the workshop and today I've got a pretty cool project for you because we are building a hidden tang knife which I've never built before. So right here I have the drawing of the knife and you can see the hidden tang, and this portion right up here should be brass in the end, and I probably will use wood for the back end of the knife, and the blade is going to be made out of 80CRV2, and we have a nice full flat grind. I'm probably going to do a convex grind on it, and that's going to be a challenge because, as I said before, I never made a knife like that. Profiling my knives, I'm mostly using my contact wheel that just removes the material as quickly as possible, and you don't get any kind of low spots in your flat platen, and it's just super satisfying to watch how the contact wheel removes that material. So I have now roughly profiled the knife, and as you can see I haven't worked on the tang because I want to do that after heat treatment so I get everything nice and square, and because I'm also waiting on a part for grinding that tang, and that should come today, and then I can grind it tomorrow after heat treatment. But that's the blade shape, and I will now start with the rough grinding before heat treatment because I also want to add a hamon to this blade. So here I'm testing out a new die-chem pen, and this pen is more resistant to high heat, which I really do love. And now for the first step on the bevel grinding, I take the knife to a 45°, remove bulk of the material with an older belt, and then I'm going to change to a fresh belt because when you knock out that 45°, your belt will stay much nicer because it doesn't have like a sharp corner to remove on the beginning of the grinding. The times you see me when I'm grinding, I'm wearing those black latex gloves, and I know you shouldn't wear gloves on the machine, but I have so many small metal splinters in my fingers and I'm sick of it, and I think I have so many in my skin that I get detected at the airport. That camera lens is... it's pretty dirty. Better now. So you can see it here, this should be the brass bolster. And I've got this thick, and yes, that's like with 3 C's. This is like a really thick piece of brass, so I've got to cut out this piece. And I also want to use that oak. It's called Mooreiche in German, I think. Don't know, it's really beautiful black wood, and I just want to prepare everything so I can start working on that tomorrow. Working with a hidden tang, it's really tricky because you have to get everything nice and square. Everything has to line up. The bolster has to line up with the wood, the tang has to line up with, of course, the bolster, and that was a really challenging part to get everything nice and square. So now you can roughly see my setup on how I want to have it here. So the guard will be this brass piece, and I've got this black oak right here, and that's just set up like that, really rough now, and then the blade will come out of here. So that will be challenging to get everything nice and fitted up. So now that the knife is out of the heat treatment, I can now finish up the grind on this knife. And you can see me while I'm grinding, I'm always checking, of course, my grind lines, but because we did a hamon on this knife, I'm always checking in the light if I can already spot the hamon, and it looks already really cool and amazing. What is a hamon? A hamon is actually a differential hardening on the blade, so the edge is hard, but the spine is soft, and later when you etch it, it will show up in a nice, really cool line in the blade. So it's now the second day and the package has arrived yesterday, luckily from Handlematerials.at. Great guy, love him, and he shipped out them quite quickly. Ordered also some material and some other tools that I need for this project. So what I actually got in here is some material and maybe some small teaser, but that will be for another project. This is like a straightening hammer with like a carbide end bit, so you can straighten out things, but that is also not for this project. And I think it's this one right here. So let's just have a look. Yes, that is a file guide with carbide end faces right here, so you can grind really closely to the grinder, and those carbide end pieces are super hard. I think you can just cut them with like diamonds, and if you touch them on your belt grinder, nothing really happens and everything stays nice, square and symmetrical and all that kind of stuff. So these are pretty neat. And what a Chad, great guy, love him. He also etched my logo on there, which I didn't knew, but now I know, and what a great Chad, really love him. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's stop talking and start working on the knife. All right, so what the next task will be is we have to scribe out some lines for this tang, because as you can see here, the knife needs a tang, and this one is much too thick right now. And I've also prepared these ones yesterday, and this should fit somehow in there like that. So we have to scribe some lines and then also use the file guide to get everything nice and square. So now I'm ready to grind in those shoulders with the file guide, and the file guide also helps me so I don't grind in too deep, so I have a definite stop on that and I can get everything nice and square. So I've squared it up with the spine and drawn some lines onto it. So let's start grinding. So now I'm done with grinding in the shoulders of the blade and finishing up the tang of the knife. I've also ground a little bit on this side here, so later on the fit up will be nicer. So now I can move on to the brass bolster, which is my kryptonite. It is my nightmare, but I just have to get through it and file a lot and hope I get everything right in the first time. And fitting up the guard was also challenging because you have to take a lot of measurements, especially when you haven't done it before. And that was really tricky to see which measurements I need, where to put them, how to measure everything, is that correct? So there was a lot of things in my head at the moment, like what should I measure, what should I do? And it was a lot of thinking, and I hope this gets better in the next project. It just sees that it is like a couple of minutes in the video, or not even that, but sometimes it's like you're spending hours. Like filing up that guard took me way too long, and it just always looks so fast. And always when I look at videos on how they do it, it looks so fast, but then you're working on it by yourself and then you realize, well, that's a lot of work, especially if you've never done it before. So that's why I'm also doing this project, because I want to learn new things and get better at it, get faster at it, and get more professional at it. So as you might see, it is a little bit darker now, and it's another day because I had a lot of troubles with that guard. Yesterday I was really frustrated. It wasn't fitting because I had like a bump in that guard, and then it came over it, and then it was super loose, and I was like, nah, I'm done for today. So I set it aside, and I spoke with some friends, Baltic Knives, really great chat. We had a talk about it, and also Martin Huber Knives, and they gave me some tips to fix it. And as you can see, the guard is now on. There's still some minor gaps, but instead of just focusing on these gaps and spending hours now on this guard, it fits. And I will also drill in a pin to secure it, and did also some work on the guard, and now it fits, as you can see. So yeah, and after that I can take it off, and then I can hammer it on in the end, and also put a brass pin in there, and also a pin on the wooden handle. So I want to start now with the wooden handle, so I have everything roughly shaped, and then I can also shape a little bit the guard before the glue up. So this knife really took on my sanity. I was so often to nearly just dump that project and said, alright, I have to record another video, make something different, but I moved out of my comfort zone, and now I'm pretty happy that I have made that knife, and I've learned so many new cool things that I can apply to my new knives that I'm working on at the moment. So after drilling out the holes, I can now use the broach, which is actually just a small saw, to enlarge that hole, and after that I'm burning in the tang for a perfect fit onto the tang. So the wood is now pretty much done, and I just have to drill a pinhole, so I also secure the wood with a pin. So the knife is now finally constructed, I would say, roughly. I just have to glue it up. But before I'm going to glue up the knife, I have to hand sand the blade and etch the hamon. And I also have to finish up the face of the bolster, because I will be not able to hand sand on this piece after everything is glued up. And then the rest I'm going to do afterwards on the grinder. Not sure if it's a good idea. But we'll see. We'll just test it out, and that's the spirit of this episode, just testing shit out and see if it works or see if it doesn't work. Yeah. So now I'm ready for the glue up. I also have taped up the knife and I've also quickly etched it behind the camera to get out the hamon, but you will see it afterward. And I maybe have already done a mistake by drilling the second hole before glue up, because when the pin is in, I cannot squeeze it really with a clamp. So that was a smart move by me, but I learned from that. You know, I was throwing that knife into the edge and I was just like, I should have done that after everything, but now the hole is in. I don't want to throw away the wood and redo everything. I just want to get that knife done. And you know, I have already learned so many things with that project, and even though after that I think I still getting a great knife that I can use personally. And if I maybe one day going to make something like that more, I have to learn more, but I can already apply what I have learned now to my next hidden tang, and hopefully that will goes better than this one. So it's the next day and the glue is dry, and now it is time to shape that handle. First of all, I have to square up that handle block to the bolster, and after that I can start working on the final shape of this knife. So when I'm working on that knife with that thick brass piece, I had to be really careful to not overheat that guard, because brass likes to just suck up heat and takes that heat in. So I had to set it sometimes aside because I didn't want to dunk it into water because of the wood and the carbon steel. So therefore I had to work really slowly and with fresh balls and really slow, cool grinding. So now I have finished up the knife, and I'm kind of happy and I'm kind of not really happy, because the handle didn't turn out as I wanted to be, because of the alignment of everything. I wanted it that the handle comes out a little bit more on the back end, so it kind of like swoops down, which I'm not really a fan of, but we have that big belly, so it still lays nice in your hand. But it's weird to have that knife in your hand compared to like a full tang knife, because the weight balance is so different, because it is quite top heavy because the wood has barely no weight, and you've got that bigger blade and then that bolster, so everything is kind of top heavy, which is kind of cool if you want to do a lot of chopping. Kind of happy with the knife, but the main thing is I learned so many things with that knife, and I have pulled through it and I have not quit it, and I have finished it. Even though I wasn't that happy with the handle and everything, I still finished it, and that is like the most important thing. When I started, I had so many knives that I ruined, and I had to restart over again. And with this knife I just try to pull through. I learned so many things. I'm really happy with how the blade turned out, and also the bolster is quite nice now, but there's still some minor flaws which I'm could do next time a little bit better. But there were so many things that they had to rethink, and how to work with the grinder now, because the bolster is attached to the knife and you don't have a tang to see where to grind, so that was a lot of challenging. But it's also good that you come out of your comfort zone. So now that I have built my first hidden tang knife, would I do it again? Probably yes, because I want to achieve a lot things better. I want to have a better finish on everything, a better fit up. So I would do it again, but it will probably take some time, because I don't have the time just to go out and work on this knife for a couple of days just by itself. But all in all, it's a pretty nice challenge for me, and it was a really cool and interesting project, because I learned a lot. The next project will be probably rock pattern. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but guys, I thank you for watching. And if you want to see more videos like that, just hit that subscribe button, write a comment for the algorithm god, and like that video, and we'll see us in the next one.